We don't talk about family business on
We
the
don't talk about family business at the table.
No.
Yeah.
Am I good enough on the mic here, Ryan? So you won't yell at me during post?
Look, man. Look, I was just like, I'm louder than you. This isn't right.
You're always louder than I am.
I
I just have a deep voice, so you know.
I think I feel like you just made your voice deeper right then. Like you turned it on.
Oh yeah. Welcome to the Quiet Storm.
Can I go a little bit deeper? Is that fun? Is this what we're doing now?
Things you can say in barbecue that you can't really say anywhere else.
I mean, dude, everything. My whole specialty is I make things that are like, it's not even a double entendre. It's just a single entendre. It's just
pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I mean, like, how else do you talk about sausage without it just being a sexual joke the entire time?
That's true.
All right. So good, bad idea, right? Is that where we're going with this?
I'm titling this live barbecue puns not safe for work.
Not safe for life.
For work.
For life.
That too.
Yeah, not safe for life.
It could be, be a little rough.
Good, bad idea. Maybe I shouldn't say this because they might steal my idea and make money off of it.
Well, I mean, if you're not making money off of it right now, how good of an idea is it really?
I'm okay. Because there are Yoder pellet smokers, right? That resemble Offset.
I think so. Yeah, they have the box on the right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they probably work the way an Offset works. I've always thought that Traeger. Well, maybe my good bad idea is Traeger needs to design a sliding, where you can adjust where the heat element is.
Yeah.
On each side.
Uh-huh.
So if you want to do more like a traditional offset, you just move it all the way to on the other side of the smokestack.
Well, the way things are going over there at Traeger right now, I'm pretty sure they could use all the suggestions they can get.
Just shoot me an invoice, shoot me your payment, and I'm trademarking that idea.
That's not a bad idea to trademark. That's actually a fairly good idea, and it's funny you mentioned that. I've been chatting with a lot of developers for some of these brands that are in their engineering team. Everyone wants to make an offset, but they want to keep it pellet. I'm like, why don't you just make an offset? Why don't you just this? I remember I was in where was it? Utah. Yeah, it was Utah when we went skiing and such. And I was talking with one of the guys that worked on the development team for their new Timberline, and he's like, what do you think? What do you think this? And different ideas. And I gave him some stuff. I was like, why don't you guys just allow it to use wood? Like, why don't you add an additional compartment, framing out this way? And I mean, we're at the bar for like an hour and a half, 2 hours doing R&D on the back of a napkin, just breaking down like how it could work to actually use chunks and like a vert go away from pellets that if you wanted to, we call it big boy up, just take that hopper off, affix this attachment in there and chuck it and go. Still use the same air propellant because you still, I've seen some cats like this cat, Joey Victorian out of Mart, Texas. He's got an offset, but he also designed the firebox with a blow fan switch to pump air in case the temp dips down too much for overnight long cooks.
Yeah.
So like, oh, well, it's obviously feasible. It's being done. It's out there.
I mean, you're basically talking about the Oni approach, like the Oni pizza ovens, where that you could do wood or you can do propane.
And so does what is it? Gosney's got it now.
Gosney's has one now too.
I believe Solo Stove has one. I think everyone and their mom is getting into pizza ovens.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to shift products that we're putting out and start designing pizza ovens.
I just want that Breville, man.
I don't have the Breville.
Yeah, the Breville pizza oven.
No, I don't have the Breville.
Like, I don't know if anybody's like, I think you could sear steaks in it too, because it gets up to like 700 degrees.
Yeah, you can, and that's what I dig. Like, I've got my Gosney, and for me, they're like, oh, pizza oven. For me, I'm like an upside down tandoori oven or a salamander. That's how I look at it. I think I've made like one pizza.
Yeah, dude, like roast as much like chickens and dude, roasting vegetables in that thing, I bet it's amazing.
Oh, it's crazy good. I wish they would make more. I wish they would make more cast iron accessories for it.
Yeah.
Granted, I snag cast iron when I do TV shows, but yeah. Oh, speaking of, Joey's in here. He says the baffle opens and closes just like the Beulah in the jar. Yeah.
All right, there you go. Yeah.
So, there are different ways to change a lot of these pellets. Like, I feel like, so you had your good idea. Here's my good idea, entrepreneurial good idea. Create a attachment accessory for pellet smokers that allow you to run it using real wood.
Yeah.
So all the hoppers they're all roughly configured the same way. If you create some sort of an attachment that goes onto a firebox that you can link on and turn any pellet smoker into a offset smoker.
I think Joey just give you the solution. You can leave the firebox on at all times, and it's just a baffle that you open and close.
Yeah.
It might affect the airflow a little bit, but maybe it's something that you clamp down.
I think there's a way to do it. I think if you turn this into a TV show and you put a bunch of guys and anyone remember, what was that show? Was it Junkyard Wars or Junkyard Wars?
Honestly, all I think of is Forged by Fire now with the guys who are building the weapons.
I dig Forged by Fire.
We need to do that for smokers.
That wouldn't be a bad idea. I had an idea for a smoker competition. Netflix didn't like it. Shocker. They were like, we don't know, Sheed. And you know what I told them? Screw you guys. I'm going to do it myself. So, but I had a smoker builder idea just like that. But you do something like that, like Junkyard Wars for the barbecue world.
And then they have to cook on it at the end. Yeah,
then the judges would have to do a cook of something. Because the crazy thing is, I know some badass builders. We know some badass pit builders. 90% of the cats I know can't cook on the rigs they make. They can make. I love the guys over at Shirley, Ross, Tyler, Paul, the whole crew. Everybody over there is absolutely amazing. But Ross tells me all the time, he's like, brother, we can make them. We just can't cook on them that well.
No. What I'm saying is, you bring in not professionals, but amateurs who build on their own and make their own pits. Oh. And then at the end. So you go through the Forged by Fire, so where you start with 6, and at the end you have 2 or 3, and then they have to cook them on them at the end, and then they're judged by how well they cook that one set protein.
I think we could do that show. Lee, how much do you think that we could shoot a pilot for?
Depends on
if we get the space, if we go out, Shirley's got their old location looks really Junkyard Warish.
Yeah,
location would be the biggest thing, and then sets of tools for everybody.
Yeah, that's true. Tools
and the insurance to cover everybody for it.
We'll worry about that.
We'll worry about insurance later. Everyone's got that.
Sorry, I'm 8 steps ahead.
You showed up with 9 fingers, right? Yeah.
I'm the legal department. I'm way ahead of you.
Such a buzzkill. Jeez.
Sorry.
All right. No, that was a good idea. Good idea. I like that one. Spiel. You going?
Again. I'm going to have to write it down and practice it.
I'm going to get a teleprompter.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a teleprompter right here.
Teleprompter, I would still screw it up.
Yeah, I hate reading. When I do commercial stuff, I don't use teleprompter. I just take the 5 minutes and just memorize. I'm like, okay, let's do that.
Yeah, no, I would have to have it written down in front of me and memorize it multiple times. And then one day.
All right, well, just not today. So until that day, I guess I'll do my little spiel.
And this is where we put the music.
Exactly. Hey, Brian, put music here.
7 minutes.
Hey guys, Rasheed Phillips here, and welcome to another episode of This Week in Barbecue. Joining me, as always, is my amazingly bearded host, Mr.
Brian Hull.
And you are joining us on This Week in Barbecue, which is the barbecue-focused podcast that brings you both the good, the bad, and everything in between in the world of barbecue. If you've listening, you've heard our good idea. And if you're watching, I'm sorry, I won't look this disheveled for very much longer. I'm getting a little bit of a beard trim and haircut and face fixing stuff.
I'm almost at where it turns from looking decent to I'm at the top of that curve. It's about to go bad.
If I could grow that beard, I'd never touch a hair on it. Where can I contact for press requests?
Don't message me IG.
Yeah, no. For press inquiries,
You're talking to him.
Yeah, I'm right here. This is pretty direct as it gets. But if you're wanting more private one-on-one stuff, I've got my Only Meats page that you can subscribe to for $4.99 a month.
Dude, that's all. Yeah, it's $4.99 a month, and then you charge based on each video.
Yeah, and all it's going to be is a page of me massaging meats. That's all it is. No, all press inquiries. Click the link in the bio, hit the contact button on the websites, and yeah, one of the guys gets back to it. I'm not really good at that type of stuff. Let's see. You want to start us off with some of your stories?
Well, let's start off with like awesome news.
Okay, I've got one.
Okay.
I just want to fight, so that's why I'm starting off with it.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, you start off with your news, and I'll come.
Okay. Well, can I do two?
All right, since you want to be greedy, sure.
Well, I mean, they're quick. They're quick.
That's what she said.
So yeah, we talked about Moose Craft Barbecue getting on the Michelin Guide.
Shout out to
Los Angeles Times just named their 101 best restaurants of 2022, number 7.
They are crushing it, man.
Yeah, I mean, much deserved. Like they are absolutely killing it.
They are crushing it. If I'm in the circuit in LA, I'm doubling down. Not that it's a competition, but you want iron. What is it? Steel Sergeant Steel.
Yeah.
Boom, that one. I'm working to push to get better. Remember, we had that conversation a couple 2-3 weeks ago. Like White Mamba.
Yeah, White Mamba.
White Mamba can wipe D League. He can wipe every LA Fitness. He can wipe every, public court. Steps on that NBA. He's he might as well be playing like junior.
He's a great spot up three-point shooter. that's what Brian Scalabrine was.
Yeah. But what Moose is doing right now is working their way up to be in that 1%, and 1% of that 1%.
I think they're there. They're making sure they stay there.
Oh, I definitely believe they're in the 1%, and the work ethic is unreal. And when I tell you, I'm just honored to have not only gotten a chance to meet, but roll smoke and share ideas and techniques and chat with them multiple times this year, bro. And he and his wife, they're both just so humble.
Oh,
and still just humble and hungry. That's the balance. That's a quote for something somewhere at some point in time. You got to be hungry and humble, and that's what they are. And they're just doing the work and letting the work speak for itself. And they're an amazing example of that.
Oh, and okay, I have a saying there. Someone said it, and I probably stole it. So
Probably.
To every overnight success, there's 5 years of work you don't see.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Go back and look at their, if you can find it, there was a Food Insider video about their journey and getting legit as pop-ups.
I've seen that video.
Yeah.
It started in the backyard, and then they were talking about someone like called the cops or whatever, and they had to like shift up, and that didn't stop them.
Yeah, go watch that video and then look at and then number 7 of the best restaurants in LA.
Yeah.
In LA. Hustle. That's insane.
That's hustle. That's grind, and they're just let that work do the talking. Yeah, I absolutely love to see it. So shout out to Moose, man.
You want the one more good news?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if we talked about it, but Bark Barbecue, who's been killing it at a couple of smorgasbords for a while, up in New York, he would do 2 a week. He just opened his spot in Timeout Market in New York City. And he's doing like Dominican influenced Texas style barbecue.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like lechon and all of that jazz.
Yeah, dude. And it looks sick. I know Barstool Jordy has done a couple collab pop-ups with them, and he's just killing it up there.
We've got to do a pop-up together. I'm actually a little offended,
What? Oh,
because I mean, you're popping up with Candy, you're popping up with Better and Guy, you're popping up with everybody and their mom, but your old buddy Sheed.
Dude,
just, what am I? Am I just like the barbecue booty call? Like you just come in, you hang out for like an hour and some change, like we catch up, and then you leave, and then there's just a bottle of whiskey on the table. Like
no. I'll go another way. You're the white whale, and you're always too busy.
Oh,
yeah.
So you're Captain Ahab.
I'm Captain Ahab,
and I'm the freaking Moby Dick.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm working on my size. I'm running more. Jesus, man.
What I'm saying is you're the Holy Grail. I didn't think it was attainable.
It doesn't end well for either of us in that book.
But we have collab though. We have collab.
We haven't done a pop-up.
We haven't done a pop-up.
But we've been collabing all year and longer since, but still. And even this in itself is a collaboration.
Right, yeah.
No.
Yeah. I wish I had planned better because I would have done Andouille again for this weekend.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because for those of you listening, this weekend is my favorite time of year because I get to don my gift wrapping suit. It is time for Pitmaster Santa. If you're unfamiliar, Pitmaster Santa is a time of year where I give away food, just obscene amounts of food. It's absolutely free. All you have to do in order to grab a bowl is to bring 2 unwrapped gifts to donate. And all the toys that I collect go to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. Don't know why I do. Well, I do know why I do this. It's important to me, though I've never been personally affected. It's still good to do good when you can. And this started long before the show. This is actually, holy crap, this is year 5. This is year 5 of doing it. It started at my buddy's wine shop years ago, and it's just grown and grown and grown. And the amazing part of it is that really hit home for me, which is why no matter what I'm doing, I always make sure it happens, is all the toys we collect actually fund and provide toys for all of the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta locations. Like, that's how many toys we collect and raise, and I purchase and add on to. And it's kind of amazing because my favorite part is always the drop off. Last year's was hilarious because I still have my suit on, and one of the little kids in the lobby sitting there with his mom, and I overhear him. He just goes, "Mom, that's a big elf," because we're wheeling these giant red wagons. They look like sleighs full of toys in, so like their eyes are just lighting up, and then I'm in there in a giant wrapping paper suit, and I go back and I was like, yeah, elves come in all shapes and sizes. We're always watching, so make sure to be good.
You could have just said that you were Buddy's brother.
I was Buddy's brother. If I could get Will Ferrell out there, that'd be great. But I've got some special guests coming. My buddy Chewy, our buddy Chewy, the fastest man I know, Mr. Blue Angel himself, is coming out, bringing the family. My buddy Rutledge Wood from my show, from TWIB, from Floor's Lava, from a lot of stuff. It's Rut, hardest working man in Hollywood that I know. He's also coming out. So this year is actually going to be at the new pontoon location in Tucker.
The Lodge.
The Lodge. It's got a nice little ring to it. I told him, like, guys, we need to have a cigar lounge in the back corner somewhere if we're calling it the Lodge. But it's a nice, fun event. Great way to give back. If you can be there, I appreciate it. Eat to your heart's content. If you can't, you can still donate. Ship a toy, drop the address. It's in the bio. It's in the stories, just everywhere. But it's a nice, fun thing. So you're going to be there. You don't have to make the sausage for it, but you're still going to be there.
Yeah.
Oh, you want me to get you a Santa suit?
No. I'm good.
You want to?
You know what? Suit? No, I'm dusting off the gentleman smoker hat. I'm gonna be rocking it. Hopefully, people get confused.
I hope so. I hope they mistake us for one another. Like, wait, are you Rasheed? Are you? I thought your hair would be longer. It's like, no, I get that all the time.
Yeah.
On to fighting topics now.
Do you want to do fighting topics?
I guess it's time to do fighting topics.
Okay, go for it.
All right.
Let's just roll with it.
Just go for ladies, gentlemen, dogs, and cats. I bought a Traeger.
You know what? I'm mad at you that you bought it. You should have had them send you 3.
Well, allow me to explain a little more. I didn't just buy one Traeger. I bought 188 Traegers.
Okay.
I bought some Traeger stock.
Oh, okay.
Because it is dirt cheap, and it would cost me money not to.
Okay. Okay. I see the pivot now.
Yeah. I bought Traeger stock. That bad boy, when I say it fell, it fell. It hit hard. Dropped from being in the 20s, peak I think it was like 25, 28. It's like $3. It's like I spend more on briskets for one event than it is for this stock. And I said, hey, if I'm ever buy a Traeger, now it seems like a really, really good time to buy it. It's low. Any lower and they'd just be completely under. So to go from like a peak of 27 to I bought in at $3.20, and I believe it's $3.80 now. So I'm already making money off of my Traeger.
Should we check with the FCC if this is legal discussion? Are we gaming the system right now?
I don't think we're gaming. We're not game stopping it. You know,
We're not game stopping it.
But if we're going to put a run on Traeger, now's a great time.
We're trying to do a pump and
To
run.
to the moon, to the moon. No,
Yeah, I mean, are we going to Reddit with it?
I'm going to Reddit pages immediately after. I'm going to start wearing Traeger merch and paraphernalia. Welcome to the Traeger hood, everybody. Let's get these stocks up.
When are you gonna start? You're gonna do a collab video with You Betcha, where you could test his custom Traeger pellets.
Oh gosh, now I'm gonna hit up Matt Pittman like Pittman. Let's hit the road, brother. I'm fully bought. I'm buying shares. You gonna cook on one? No, I'm gonna just keep buying shares.
No. The problem is you have to actually cook on one to give the impression.
We can like light a match or something in there.
No, okay. So my
Hold on. Lacey says not insider meat trading. Insider meat trading. Yes. Yeah, we are insider meat trading.
my buddy Rich Pettit, he actually just
That's a funny name. You can be in all types of careers with a last name like Pettit.
right. Well, he was actually just cooking on a Traeger and pulled some like really good looking ribs off of it. I bet he didn't flip them.
I think everyone on Traeger flips their ribs. It's in the instruction manual. It's a picture on the box. No, I got it because you know me. I'm business acumen. I don't even know what had happened. I was listening to a report on just how how the market's shifting and steel prices and this and that. I was like, let me check because I remember someone sending me something like when the stocks release, like, do you want to buy? Do you want to go? I was like, nah, I'm good. Like, I'm okay. It's like, you guys are laying people off left and right. You know, you guys cut 15%, let go of some VPs, let go of a lot of their brand ambassadors aren't getting renewed up. I'm getting hit up like, hey, can you put me in touch with so-and-so? I'm like, dang, it's that bad you're willing to cross over enemy territory like that? So
Speaking of which, if Camp Chef wants to advertise on the podcast, any and all opportunities, man.
No, I'm not knocking it. I'd love to get. Actually, I've got some cats over in Canada that may want to advertise with us. Napoleon, they do propane and propane accessory gas grills though. So got to get down how you get down. We got to keep the lights on. But I decided to pick up
the hills in Texas will be very, very happy with this. Bobby, dang it, Bobby.
Dang it, Bobby. Find me a boomhauer. That's what I need. Find me a boomhauer friend just to work the work the mics at the events and work the register. But it was really interesting, like buying the shares, and it was cheap. And this is how I went about purchasing it. I went to Academy and I saw how much the lowest entry Traeger was. I was like, cool, $599, great. I'm gonna buy $599 worth of Traeger shares. I'm not, and I don't. Am I the asshole?
That's the pettiest, most amazing thing I've ever heard. It's like, I'm not gonna buy a Traeger. I'm gonna buy the lowest. I'm gonna buy the lowest in model and stock.
But we talk about it, tell people all the time. When they ask for consulting, they book me for consulting times, and I was asking them like, oh, what phone do you have? They'll say an iPhone, usually like the new one or the one before. And I'm like, oh, how many Apple shares do you have? Like, none. It's like, okay, how many iPhones have you had? Almost all of them. Do you see how the numbers aren't numbering, right? Do you see where the value's lost? So I'm a big believer in, if I have it, I try to get a little bit of share a little bit of the market because I'm already supporting you. You aren't really supporting me unless I have some shares. So obviously I don't use a Traeger. But bro, at $3.20, it's dirt cheap. And if it kicks off eventually, like in my head, like worst case scenario, I'm out a cheap Traeger. Best case scenario, that thing shoots back up to like 1820s. I'm like, all right, let's do it. Let's do it. So do I have a Samsung? No. I have an iPhone. And I have an obscene amount of Apple stock.
I mean, look, I support your decision. As long as
So you support Traeger? Can we get that soundbite from saying he supports Traeger?
Wait for it. I support your decision until we find out they have a tax shelter in Ireland. So we'll roll it down. We'll roll it down the hill, or we'll roll it down the road and see what happens.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I plan on buying another 2 rounds, so probably in total it'll be around another 372 additional shares. Just park them and let them do the thing.
So what is their top end model?
I have no idea. I think that's the Timberline, the 4XL,
So,
the XL,
yeah,
the new one.
so you're getting the Timberline worth of stock.
Nah, I don't even think. I think doubled up because it was $599 for the low model, so I'll get 2 low models. So I'll be a little over grand on that.
Is their top line model where you don't even have to actually control it?
The top line model has the uber duber super smoke that still leaves your meat not tasting like smoke, which is a hell of a magic trick when you see how much smoke gets kicked off that thing. I'm like, how does this not work? What are you gonna do? They've got the infrared thing on there, and the induction heated cooktop. It's basically their low end model with about 100 square inches more cooked surface, with a $20 induction hot plate attached to it, and a really cool smoke device you can get at Halloween Town. $3,800. That's a lot.
Lee on the research.
It's dropped down in price.
3,800 for.
It used to be 42 at launch. It was 4,200.
That's approaching like backyard models from Mill Scale and Primitive and like. And
3,800
and workhorse.
Yeah, I was about to say 3,800 gets you a workhorse and a Primitive and
it's close to a Mill Scale.
Yeah,
because I think Mill Scale is up over 4.
You know what? You want to know what's crazy?
Yeah.
Penny. I got Penny for about that price. So for those of you who aren't aware, Penny is my 250-gallon reverse flow smoker from the Shirley's.
Yeah.
I got Penny for that price before all the crazy steel prices. I even remember talking to Ross when they came by to drop off Phoebe, and they're like, man, we couldn't even build Penny for this price anymore. It's just gone up. She'd be double the price.
Well, no, I mean, that's $1,400 more than I got my 24x60 first offset smoker on a trailer.
Yeah.
Like that's how insane that is.
Really?
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
I mean, okay, I bought that back in like 2017, 2018. So steel prices were a little different, but that was basically a 150, 175 gallon smoker, offset smoker. I could do 4 briskets and 2 pork butts without the top rack.
Wow. I had someone ask me yesterday at a meeting, like, how many pork butts, how many this could your rig hold? I was like, well, it depends on trim, depends on placement, depends on like top shelf, bottom shelf. But I think that's really the sell. And for people looking and going into it, they're like, my warning to you if you're going into this is don't look at how much you think it could hold. How much do you think you're going to be cooking? Because then you're just heating dead real estate. It's like buying a 5-bedroom house and you live in one room, but you still have to heat the entire place.
Yeah.
You know, so be mindful. There's just been an uptick in questions of people wanting to know what to look for when grabbing a smoker. Like, should they just go all out and get the biggest and best? We actually had someone follow up on our apprenticeship question. Zeke of Zeke's Barbecue. He had points on it leaning towards your side of it's harder to do that type of thing if you don't have a steady 9 to 5 with with steady income. And I was realizing, yeah, it does make it a bit more challenging, but it doesn't make it impossible. And we went back and forth just talking for a while that the major deciding factor in something like that is the fact that you have to be fully cognizant in your decision and aware and know, hey, this is it.
Right.
This is what you're pushing for. Like, don't do this if you're going to be wavering and going back and forth, because it's going to sort of screw you over. It's really going to mess you up in the long run if you aren't dedicated to knowing this is what you're going to do, because it's going to suck for a little bit of time.
Right.
Comes out the other end pretty good, though. Ooh, that was a lot. We went from finance to business to engineering. We did a lot this early.
Should we do some questions? We haven't even done a question yet.
Well, you go back through your news, run that off.
Okay,
'Cause
all right.
There's
So,
a lot of stuff going on
we-
in that world.
Yeah, we both highlighted this. We were both going to highlight it. So people are always asking. I know you get questions about classes. I get questions about classes.
Well, you get more questions because you know what you're doing.
I get questions about one thing. That's it.
It's a really good one thing.
Yeah.
And like, again, like I said, puns that are not safe for work.
Yeah.
If people were walking up to me asking me about my sausage all day, I'd be pretty happy about it.
Fair enough.
I'm sorry.
Fair enough. Well, okay. So we've talked about classes usually in Texas.
Yeah.
I think Hoodoo Brown is doing classes up in Connecticut.
Shout out to those guys.
I know Fox Brothers has done classes down in Georgia. There's another opportunity in Georgia coming up in January and February.
Our buddies.
Yeah, 441 or 441 South. Like, it's not 441, it's 441
Yep.
South up in Canton, Woodstock. They're going to offer 3 different barbecue classes over a few weeks. So they're going to kind of do, your standard proteins and sides and stuff on one class. It's 5 hours, $150 a person. Then the next weekend they're offering a junior pitmaster class, which I think is really cool.
Okay,
So it's for
I like
kids
that.
age 6 to 12. That's $25 a kid. So if you have a kid who's like into grilling, into kind of barbecue, you could take them for like hold on, I have it written down, like a 2 to 3 hour class.
And it's actual, you have to be an actual child, not like a child of God child where you try to still work the deal.
You can't Donald Glover it like in Atlanta. Actually, Zestos was still like, you can't order a kid's meal. They were telling me.
Like, what's going on? Who became the kids' meal?
Yeah, and then they're also offering like a Super Bowl kind of focused cooking class that's going to focus like on ribs and wings and kind of like
right on.
like more platter, like that kind of style for parties.
You've got
That's also $150 a person. That's in February.
nice. The Georgia prices are cheaper. You've got Pitmaster Joey V saying he plans to offer barbecue classes for Black youth in Mart. I was like, hey, right on. Spread the love. I've been working with Beef is What's for Dinner for quite some time now to work on a ranch project to where we go out to Texas, partner with a rancher. We get the rigs out there and we do a hands-on demonstration class with kids. I don't think it's going to happen next year. We are trying. I'm not giving up hope, but there's just a lot of logistics that go into something like that. Shout out Miami. Hey, Jem. But I definitely want to do those courses. I was actually honored. I got an email earlier this week. The American Meat Association has reached out and they would like for me to do a demo and speaking engagement, do a PowerPoint, basically a meat TED Talk on the science of cooking. I was like, wow, I didn't even know you guys knew I existed. Thank you. So,
Well, I mean, you're already doing stuff with Beef is What's for Dinner, so you should be on the radar.
yeah. Well, I take up a lot of space and sort of hard to miss in a crowd, so that always feels good. So I'm looking forward to doing that because I like to nerd out about this type of stuff and being able to go to a conference and talk to various people in that size of a crowd about it. I'm all for it. So definitely looking forward to it. Stay tuned. I will have more information. I believe that is going to be happening in June, either June or July. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be real fun. It's taking me to Illinois, I believe, which is weird. And it's not even like Chi-Town. It's just some weird. Not weird. I can't say that. It's a smaller town in Illinois that I never would have.
Illinois is still the Midwest, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
So Joey Victorian's class. Did you say that's in March?
I don't think he.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's in Mart,
Texas. Okay,
Mart,
yeah,
Texas
yeah,
is the town that he's in.
Okay.
But he mentioned wanting to do a class like that. We went and we went there. What was it? Mayish. We were up there.
It was hot.
It was hot. We went to Texas. It was hot, and it was really cool there because we got to see his location, his new location. I think he's going to be opening up next year, I believe, and he's got a beautiful corner unit, corner block unit, and then he owns another building. So he gave us a tour, and he, was kind enough to show us that where he sort of wants to set up his smokehouse, hold courses, give us a guided tour around the
Still
city.
alive.
Yeah,
And his coffee shop. Is there a coffee shop yet?
Yeah.
I want to go. I want to go get some coffee.
I know. Joey Lee says he wants to get some coffee. We're waiting for the coffee shop to open up.
I mean,
smoke
you
and
got to have
roast
the
it.
coffee shop up so the people taking the class can get some coffee ready to go in the morning.
Yeah, yeah. No, someone's saying something here. What's for dinner 1722? I did a video with Vice Munchies. You're definitely one of my biggest inspirations. See that, Brian? You're you're inspiring all types of people, man.
No, we talked about.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it's in New Jersey.
yeah, with the master builds.
Yeah, you were gonna hook him up with some master belts.
I told him we want to send him some. I'll send him some pallets, some lump over there. Was it Tito's barbecue or Tito?
All right, I'm gonna
You do the little
research real quick.
buns things. I should probably get you a computer for that side of the desk, but you'd probably want it like to be.
I mean,
like an alien there.
I would use the iPad, but I've got the notes up for the show.
For once, he's prepared.
Tio Rosie's.
Tio Rosie's. That's
Yeah,
what it
Tio
is.
Rose's. Yeah.
I wonder if Rick Ross is okay with that. Yeah, sorry, he took it from someone else anyway.
No, I was saying you should hook him up with use your Masterbuilt connection to get him the Mac 2 of the Mac Daddy, because I think he's using the small ones right now,
I don't know.
or the
Was he-
medium ones.
The medium. No, I think maybe you're right. I think he was rolling 2 800s back there. It didn't seem bad. There's needs some work, but I just love the hustle and the grind of putting stuff out like that. That's just what it is. His story definitely seems better. I just had a friend come over and was like, "Why do we keep eating bad food when you make food like this?" And then we hopped in my car and went to Home Depot and just bought a bunch of rigs and hodgepodge them together, and it just sort of worked out from there. So no, that's cool. We should get him on the podcast one day.
Oh yeah.
Make a note of that. Like, hey, reach out and get them on the cast.
That since you have that Masterbuilt connection, see if
I'm gonna add her too. I'm not gonna lie to you. The trippiest moment for me was touching down in Vegas for the Home Depot product walk, and I'm driving through, and like as I pull up, because we stay at Mandalay, as I pull up there, just see like, hey, there's a billboard. Hey, that's my beard on that billboard, And then you go through the floor space, and it was trippy, like seeing these large size posters of me. I'm like, and what was also sad was I was wearing the exact same thing. So I definitely need a stylist because I'm dressed the same as my photos.
Look, man,
like 90% of the time.
it's that business attire. You just have a closet full of the same thing, so you can be consistent in your look.
Everything says my name on it because I can never spell it right. So
Well, that and you learned from the Netflix show. That's the one thing they taught you is to have like the same wardrobe for everything.
Netflix blasted that in, but I actually got it years ago from Steve Jobs that, he just never wanted to waste time looking and thinking of like, what do I need to wear? And it was right. He was really right. Like, I don't worry about what to wear. I literally have a pile of shirts with my name on it, shirts with my moniker on it, shirts and sweaters with my logo on it, and then flannel and like a random gift wrapping barbecue suit, along with my other suits. Every man should have 5 suits, but that's a talk for another day. It helps save a lot of time, and why not? It's kind of, I design them. Nike's not cutting me a check, so why am I going to run around and sport all that in a tracksuit? Plus, this is practical. This is a practical outfit. Like, if we got to go split wood, I can go split wood. We got to go roll a smoker, I can go roll a smoker. Practical.
Can't do that in the suit and tie?
No, not comfortably. We did walk, a mile, 2 miles, and
1.2.
yeah,
Well, in New
really,
York?
really cold New York. 2 in front. Well, it was definitely over 2 round trip, and then another half mile for the world's most expensive pizza I've ever bought.
That's right. I remember you telling. Oh God.
Everyone's trying to sober up and just soak that liquor up after open bar and endless drinks. And luckily for us, we hoofed it back from the event too, so that cold and walk burned it. But we were the hit of the party amongst. And mind you,
Remember the bartender who slid us a bottle because we were just hanging
yes,
out?
that's true.
Just a bottle of bourbon.
That's true. And I it's weird. So I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I was part of this gala last year, and I felt weird in that room because one, it was a room full of people I definitely had no reason being around. They've got more money than money has money, like a lot of money, a lot of influence, a lot of stuff, doing my whole biz, and it's all for charity, it's all for fun and games. But the fun part of that was after all the gala fancy stuff is done, and so and so from this family's family has bought whatever. I think I bought a boat that night too. Yeah, I did. It's we get back, everyone's drinking and enjoying themselves, and everyone just crowded over that box of pizza, like it was the best thing in the world. And you're eating, $50, maybe $1 slice pizza with a diamond crested, bejeweled everything, like grease getting all over your fancy rings. It's like, yeah, we're all the same. Because at 3 a.m, after you've had half a bottle of bourbon, all you want is a greasy pepperoni pizza to wash it down and toss it.
And you couldn't get in touch with Ukali.
Yeah, basically. And the place we were staying at, it was so new. We were the first people to stay there that the kitchen wasn't even open. Like it hadn't ever been used. So only thing that was functional in that place was the bar.
The good thing is you don't have to worry about running a blacklight over anything.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
It's new.
Very, very true. But it's also New York, so it was like, hey, I could take a leak from the bed. That's how small the rooms are.
Okay, yeah.
It's just such a tight space, man. No, let's see. Let's see. Tia Rose, you still in this chat? If so, drop a line. What other news did you have, brother?
Zavala's announced that they're doing a barbecue club.
Okay.
That's for completely for free. They just asked that you donate to the Zavala Family Foundation, and we'll have a link to that in the show notes.
Okay. And I was ignorant to this, so maybe others are. What is the Zavala Family Foundation? What do they do? You'd mentioned that it works in the line.
Hey, I'm going to read the exact thing. So, established in 2020, the Zavala Family Foundation was founded to provide assistance to those in the restaurant industry who are battling or have family members that are battling cancer. So this was actually, they thought of this before Joe Zavala himself went into his own battle with cancer. And so the idea is that they're helping like with hospital bills and beyond. And it's for the people of like Grand Prairie and like in their kind of their community and beyond. And so they're just asking that you can join the barbecue club for free, throw a donation to the Joe Zavala or the Zavala Family Foundation.
Yeah.
If you want to join, you can DM the Zavala's Barbecue or send an email to joe@zavalafamilyfoundation.com. They're going to give discounts on their rubs. They're going to give you access to 44 Farms meats. And they're either going to, they're going to either do like a Zoom kind of meetup or do it in person.
Yeah.
And basically the idea is that you come in and you talk about what you cooked and how, like, what you did this time, what you feel like you're going to do differently next time.
Okay.
And you're kind of getting access to like a top 50 pitmaster who are giving you tips like on what you can improve on your own setups.
That's not bad.
For free, but like throw a donation. Like,
yeah, help do the cause.
Yeah.
Speaking of donations, I don't know if my buddy's still in here, but if you guys aren't follow Dave W Comedy, Dave is actually doing a auction raffle right now. I believe it's for a Rec Tech smoker. He's trying to raise funds. He's trying to raise funds to bring, I believe, a swim team, the youth men's swim team to competition. So he's auctioning off a smoker. I love when people use barbecue for that. So Dave, if you're still in here, buddy, let me know if I got that right. But I believe he's auctioning off and it's a large Rec Tech smoker. You can like buy raffle tickets. If you aren't, go check him out. Check out his page. I think it's his last post. Dave W Comedy. You can go and you buy the tickets. You entered into a raffle to win the Rec Tech, and it's for men's water polo to bring them on to championship. So that's pretty cool. It's nice. We got a lot. We've got Zavala's Foundation. We've got Dave doing his thing. We've got Pitmaster Santa, which someone emailed me this morning saying they've been wanting to do something like Pitmaster Santa in their area in New York, and I'm going to respond to them back later. I'm like, all right, what do you need for me to make that happen? Because my ultimate goal is to have a Pitmaster Santa in every state, and it's just something that happens and grows. So,
You know what?
whatever I can make happen.
Pitmaster Santa Foundation. Let's do it.
You know, it's a lot of paperwork to do a 501c3. I got to get a charity lawyer to do it, but it is a lot of paperwork. So if I could find a lawyer that's willing to do like pro bono to help create like a Phyllis Foundation or something like that so we can do it, I'm all about it. I'd love to make it happen.
I mean, we need to get that out there like Extra Life. You know the Extra Life streams?
No, is that
So like every year, a bunch of people get on Twitch and stream video games for Extra Life, and all the donations go to
like
the children's.
Ninja and those guys?
It goes between like it's everybody, it's big, small, whoever wants to do it, and all the donations go to the Children's Miracle Network.
Okay.
And they kind of do it like the idea is you do a 24-hour stream.
Oh, all right. I'm down.
Yeah, but like we do that for Pitmaster Santa, where everybody throws their own pit, like what you said, throws their own Pitmaster Santa in whatever city they're in.
Two things. Dave said, yep, raffle tickets to win a RecTech 1250. Info is on his account. Dave W. Comedy. Check him out. And he's also hilarious and rolls a mean smoke. So don't worry about that. And it is GNFBBQ. Yes, they're the ones who had messaged about wanting to do Pitmaster Santa. And I want to make that happen. I think that's going to be a part of the goal next year is to do at least more than one Pitmaster Santa. I will provide the gift wrapping paper suits because that is a key part of the Pitmaster Santa itself. It's literally, I even have it in the animated version of myself in the flyers. Like that suit will always be there. So what do we got here? Just recapping. We covered moves. We covered the classes. Shout out one time to 100 grand, the Sultan of Swine, Mr. Rodney Scott, for World of Barbecue, named IACP's Cookbook of the Year. We're going to have a video that we're going to drop. We were actually there with Rodney when he got the news, and we had a wonderful talk about it, and I can't wait to share that with you guys. Speaking of, the Unknown's Black Pitmaster Birthday Wish 2022 Backpack Drive is also occurring. We were in a great position to donate to that last year to help provide book bags and other items for orphan children in the Cleveland area with Mr. Darren Carter of Carter's Barbecue. So we'll have all like the feel-good give back things. We get it. Times are hard. You know, you may not have too much extra, but whatever you can give is definitely appreciated, and we always try to match whatever comes in. So we'll do the heavy lifting if you get it to us. Oh, someone asked, what is this conversation about? Honestly, it's just two guys who rub butts and start fires talking about their buddies and other friends who rub butts and start fires. It's a very uninteresting show. We have families that would benefit from an event like that. We'd love to work with you and bring the event to our area. Oh, that's cool. Not that the families need help, but that anyone wants to work with me. See, people do like me, Brian, despite what you say.
Why are you gonna put me in a corner like that?
Well, technically, you're already sitting in the corner.
I am. You know what? We should just have like, I need a dunce cap. I need to be facing the corner the entire podcast.
I'll get you a Traeger beanie. Same thing.
A Traeger beanie.
I do have to say, their merch game is like out of this world. Traeger pants, Traeger socks, Traeger shirts, Traeger varsity jackets, Traeger Super Bowl looking rings. It's, yeah. Yeah, I'm dead serious. They've got Traeger Super Bowl looking ring. It is.
How many of those are these? I want to know who's wearing that.
I saw some of the cats with it, and no, we're definitely friends. I saw some of the cats wearing it in when we met in Utah because they had like their heavy hitters out there like Diva Q. Shout out to Diva, she's absolutely amazing. Love working with her. Dad Pittman, Kendrick of Kendrick Barbecue. They had a couple other guys. I think they even gave one to Ken Griffey Jr. He was there.
That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, he was there. Nice guy. We didn't talk anything about sports, just food, like what he gets down into.
Kendrick Barbecue should make his own like Halloween costume and sell it.
He really should. His should be an official Halloween costume.
Like, because when I talk about like the Traeger YouTube starter pack, everybody's trying to look like Kendrick Barbecue.
Yeah, Yeah, they're not doing a horrible job of it either. They're not doing a bad job of it either. Someone said. So yeah, I mean, we'll do that. Let's. We're gonna have more than one Pitmaster Santa next year. I'm gonna do that.
But we'll get it rolling to where it's like you said, we're gonna extra life the Pitmaster Santa.
Yeah, everyone's gonna get a starter pack, and in that starter pack is gonna be a
The suit.
the suit. It's
Like
gonna
the
be
suit's the most important
You
thing.
should just buy the fabric wholesale, and then they gotta get a suit.
I should, but don't worry. I think I've got to fancy up the suit and the ride this year as I drive down there.
Honestly,
bells and whistles.
like we can. I think it just needs to be the hat and the jacket, and you can throw the hat and the jacket over anything.
Well, I like the whole ensemble, like down to the tie and everything, man.
Well,
You know?
okay, so hat, jacket, tie. I think those are the three most important components.
Cool. I'll get you a hat, jacket, and tie.
And pants.
And while you're at it, you might as well just do the shirt. See, there you go. The whole suit is back.
I'll only do it if it's a Carhartt shirt.
Oh gosh, freaking Carhartt! Can we get Carhartt to sponsor to do this?
I'm not asking for Yeti sponsorship. I'm asking for a Carhartt sponsorship.
They still won't do it. Let's see if we can. I don't know.
Should we actually do some questions? We haven't done a single question yet.
Well, that's sort of the thing about having it be our own show.
Yeah, that's
We
true.
can do whatever the heck we want. Like you're not gonna bully me on my own on my own show. Shout out to James. Hopefully James, you're recovering well, brother. I'm trying to see. We set up Zoom last time, yeah. Like we did a whole thing. Perfect. Because I hate having to feel like we have to go through all of that again. Maybe we could see. Does anyone want to come in to be a barbecue buddy?
We're just asking live on show,
Yeah, why not?
live on air.
I can. I feel like you don't understand. We can do whatever we want. This is like the Sims world of podcasting.
So we build a little box, put someone in it, and starve them of food. Is that what you're talking
I
about?
said Sims, not Tamagotchi.
No, that's Sims.
Oh
You never did that in Sims?
no, I wasn't cruel.
You're playing Sims all wrong, man.
No, I guess I'm really realizing a dark side of you here.
Any small animals when you were a child, right?
No.
I feel like
There's a difference.
This is why you didn't want your sister on. She was going to tell us the truth.
Dude, she's the one that taught me how to play Sims.
Oh gosh, it's just going badly. It's going so badly. No, yeah. Let's see if we can do a question here.
No, I draw the line at small animals, man.
Draw the lines of small animals.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Let's see.
If anybody did that to a pet dog, no, that's
No, she's not a dog.
No, I'm talking about like
A
pet.
bird.
Yeah, like no, a pet dog in like Sims. Like even then, like the
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
I treat the I treat the dogs in the Sims better than I treat the people.
Here's a good question. This one's from Peter Delmar. What's with butcher paper and foil crutch? Does it do anything different?
This is actually a question I can answer.
Well,
Yeah, okay,
Go
so-
for it. You're just gonna leave us.
No, I was waiting for your response. You were like,
No,
yeah,
I pitched it to you.
All right,
Maybe you
so
should start coming in with your own questions.
I was actually gonna joke about that. It's like I'm asking you for questions, and I could be asking questions myself. So there's been there's been two kind of trains of thought, and now there's a kind of a third train of thought with when you're cooking a brisket, whether you do the foil wrap, which is known as the Texas crutch,
Yeah.
whether you do a paper wrap, or whether now if you are this is my joke, a devotee, and do a foil boat with the aluminum foil, which
Okay.
which was popular, or which was started by Friedman's Barbecue and kind of popularized by Leroy and Lewis and Bradley Robinson on his Chud's Barbecue channel. Now, both you and I say never wrap until the stall is over.
Yeah.
Because if you wrap when the stall is happening, that's when the brisket is expelling a lot of moisture. So no matter if you wrap in paper, wrap in foil, or do a boat, you're going to expel too much moisture and you're going to ruin your bark. So never do that.
Yeah.
But once you're past the stall, and this is like where it deviates. I like to wrap super late. If I wrap, it's going to be like 185, 190.
Okay.
Like super late in the cook. And when you're at that point, honestly, wrapping in foil isn't that big of a deal anymore. The idea is that when you wrap in foil, there's no There's nowhere for the moisture to escape. So you're going to steam the brisket and steam the bark a little bit more. Then if you wrapped in paper, butcher paper, it's a little more breathable. So it's going to absorb the moisture and allow some to escape. So you're going to get a less wet bark, I guess is the right term.
Oh. I can't reach it. I'm a T-Rex. I've got short arms.
So, and then if you want just a crispy bark, what you do is you wait till you get past the stall and you foil boat it. And if you want to know how to do a foil boat, just look up YouTube foil boat, Chud's Barbecue. They'll walk you through the whole thing. Bradley Robinson walks you through the whole thing. Basically, it kind of braises the brisket from the bottom, the flat, and keeps it moist while like rendering the fat more on top, so you get a crunchy bark. You're gonna get like it's almost like you're cooking it unwrapped on top.
Okay.
But because there's that fat layer on top, it's more protected than if you cook the entire brisket exposed.
Well, that seems like the answer to the question.
No, if it didn't answer the question, just yell at me.
We'll make that a definite breakout of its own, because I think that was a wonderful and detailed explanation of it. And it's not a crutch. I mean, we have these.
We have these insider terms.
Insider terms, and it's publicly has like that negative connotation sounding to it, and it's not. It's a different aspect of a trick, of a way of approaching the cook to help get the job done. Because let's be honest, if you end up on a television show or what have you, and you're going to have to expedite things, these are some of the tricks you're going to have to use. Like, you may not be able to or want to, like on your regular cooking, but it's good to have this sort of a knowledge, especially if you're going into competitions, which, this is competition TV show season, guys. They're all casting, so toss your hat in the rink if you're trying to be about that life. Just a little something there.
I mean, the different cooking methods do end up with different flavors. Because if you wrap a brisket too early in foil, you might get more of a pot roasty texture and flavor to your brisket.
Yeah.
Just because it's like you're technically braising it, steaming it.
Because you're steaming and you'll steam a lot of the smoke and a lot of the flavor out of it if you do it that way.
Yeah, that's why especially if you're doing like a prime brisket or like a high quality upper 2/3 choice brisket.
Oh man, gosh, I remember when those were affordable.
Yeah. So like if you're like a Creekstone Master Choice, if you're gonna order one, or like a Snake River Farms or whatever, wrapping late in foil, it's not a bad thing. I just wrap later. Don't wrap once it hits 170. Wrap when it hits 185, 190, where you're almost at the end, so it's not sitting there the entire time. Yeah. And then when you let it, here's another trick that people don't think about.
These are when you're letting amazing breakouts.
Yeah,
thank
you. when you let it rest, open up the foil and vent it a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, like it's just a subtle thing. It's a very subtle thing, but it will make a huge difference in the quality of your bark at the end of the cook, or when you slice into it.
Another great tip. If you guys are rolling with briskets, and a lot of people said, they have a hard time with doing briskets, getting the bark to set right. And that's because a lot of your briskets, your trimming technique needs shifting, and maybe you don't want to trim. Pops doesn't trim, he runs it whole, but there's certain tricks you can do to alleviate the pooling in those spots. The easiest trick, grab a ball of aluminum foil, ball it up, wedge it underneath the middle of your brisket to form a hump. And then that way it stops the pooling of the brisket laying flat, and all the excess fat and grease and all that oil runs off the sides instead of pooling and messing up and giving you those soft spots in your bark.
Well, so there's a couple things. All right, so first of all, this is something I do. I don't like to cook like with a water pan for like the first 3 to 4 hours, because I want that bark to be be as dry as possible so the bark sets. Mm-hmm. And what you do, this is a really simple thing. Take 2 fingers when you're 3 or 4 hours in the cook. Pat your brisket on the top. If there's a ton of rub that comes off, your bark isn't set.
Yeah.
If there's a little bit, like if you get almost no rub on your fingers, the bark is set. So don't spray your brisket before the bark is set. Like that's like a no-no. If you start spraying your brisket before the bark is set, your bark's not going to set. You're going to get a muddy, like what I call it a muddy looking brisket.
Yeah, and you can see where it looks clumped, like it doesn't look properly set.
Right.
It's one of those things. And you see it all. Sadly, you can tell the exterior, like the bark just looks like it has a nice glisten, like it's getting there. It's like, okay, that worked out. That's going to be really good. But then you see some of those unwraps where everything just looks dry and clumped up. Like when you wet it too early, it just adheres back and forms little balls of seasoning that fall off.
Right.
That's not what you want.
And here's another, like, I don't know if this theory is really accurate. This is more theory territory.
Okay.
When you go buy a brisket, say, like you go to Sam's, you go to Costco, and you go buy a brisket, you're usually getting a brisket that's pretty newly packed.
Yes.
So we've talked about wet aging in the bag. If you get a brisket from Costco, you kind of don't want to cook it for a minimum of a week, probably 2 to 3 weeks. The sooner you cook it, the more likely it's going to, no matter what temperature you cook at, the more likely it's going to scrunch up and curl and get you with those pools. So if you let it wet age, it's more likely to not have that problem. So you don't have to angle the, put the ball of foil, or, Jonathan Barbecue just did it with a block of wood on one of his videos.
Yeah, you can do it that way too.
Yeah.
And it's a very versatile technique, but it's just some of those things that you can look at and spot and be like, okay, this is what happened and this didn't get fixed, so that's why that's the end result of it.
Right. Yeah. So like if you have the time and you're gonna do a brisket cooking a month from now, go ahead and buy the brisket. It will be fine sitting in your fridge as long as your fridge is the correct temperature for like up to a month. I think it's Franklin that says he likes to buy his briskets almost like 3 weeks to a month in advance.
Yeah, it is actually. And someone just asked, C Pace Cuisine, what do you do when you find a forgotten pork butt in the freezer?
We had this question
with Erica, and what does she say? If I find it, I smoke it?
Yeah, if I find it, I smoke it.
So if you found it and it's in the deep freeze and it's still frozen, check the date on that bad boy. A lot of that stuff works and holds, especially if you never removed it from its original vacuum pack sealing. Put it in the fridge, let that thing slow thaw, and smoke it.
Or if you need to fast thaw it, throw it in your sink and just run lukewarm water over it.
Yeah. That's the I forgot to take the chicken out when Mom told me to this morning.
Yeah, don't thaw it in the microwave. Don't run hot water over it. Just run.
Who thaws in the microwave?
Old school. That's old school white people technique.
Defrost. There's a button.
There's a defrost button.
No, this is right. I'm learning so many things about various cultures. Like I learned the other day.
You ever looked at the microwave and like, why is that button there?
No, I was like, made fries or something. I don't think people actually thaw food in there like that. But like, I learned that people actually make mashed potatoes from a box and it like in a powdered form. I'm like, how?
Wait, you never done the powdered mashed potatoes?
No. Why? I can just go buy a potato.
It's lazy white people shit.
I'm black. I don't know that world. I don't know that realm of it. Like, why would I want to know? It's a
potato flakes, man.
No, I can't get down.
Yeah, it's right next. It's not right next to the what is it? It's not Stouffer's. The stovetop stuffing, the stovetop dressing.
Oh God, no. Cutting edge in here. Shout out to them. They sent over a nice care package of some wood for me to use in my gosney, which I don't make pizzas in, but make a lot of steaks and roasted veggies and stocks and all of that. I'm actually going to use the wood this weekend to make the broth for the gumbo. To help build that part up, because I don't like buying stuff. So this year I'm using a smoked turkey broth. So I'm going to fire it up and roast the bones because I saved. I did a broken down turkey for Thanksgiving and I saved the carcass. It's not cooked; it's still raw, but double vac sealed it. So I'm going to roast it in the gosney with some veggies. Use that for the base for the stock, and then add that up use that stock for the gumbo. So it's going to be levels and tiers of flavor. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to the event just so that I can have the gumbo, because I legit do not make it any other time of year except this time. So I get to enjoy it just as much as everyone else. A little random fact. Just saying, just sharing.
No, it's good.
No, so shout out to the guys over there at Cutting Edge. If you guys need
Yeah,
some,
it's funny. You
reach
don't
out.
ever make it to sell. You literally just make it to give away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd do great if I sold it, but I was like, no, this is good. This is comfort food. Take it.
It's
drop
perfect
some
weather
toys.
food.
It's getting a little warm right now, so we'll see how that goes.
It's dipping back into like the 50s
Yeah,
this weekend, so
Okay,
we're good.
Right
Yeah.
on, right on.
We're having what is it? Are we in the fake fall part of
We are
Georgia
in the
winter?
fake fall.
Yeah, fake fall.
And let's do this one. This is from Shen Ridgewood. Do you mix different types of wood in a single cook? If so, which combination is your favorite?
You
I
go
usually-
first because
I usually do 2 to 1, and it depends on the dish. Like if I'm doing my standard cooks, recently now, having been able to get a hold of it, I'll do 2 to 1 hickory and post oak because I just love the fragrance and the aroma that the combination of those two give off, especially when I'm doing beef, like when I'm doing briskets and such. Going with that, the briskets that I'm making for this year's Pitmaster Santa for the gumbo, because I actually have to smoke the briskets first, then do the rest of the stuff for the gumbo. That's the combination I'm using: 2 to 1 hickory on post oak.
yeah, I used to be 2 to 1 oak to pecan, and then I had my wood guy delivered me all oak one time, and I just liked the results, so I've never looked back. But our good buddy Brian Keenan of Keenan's Pit Barbecue, he's kind of 2 to 1, 3 to 1 oak to cherry. So he'll throw like just a log of cherry on every now and then to help develop color on his briskets and his ribs.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
So
So the answer to that question is a resounding yes.
Yes.
yeah, and it's all use case. Like if you want, especially if you're doing pork or chicken with briskets, you're really not going to get the fruitiness of a fruitwood.
Mm-hmm.
That flavor is just not going to get imparted because it's not going to overcome the beefiness, the predominant beef flavor of a brisket. But with pork and like especially like ribs or bacon and especially chicken, turkeys, you are going to get the notes of whatever fruitwood you use. So say fruitwood's more expensive, use some oak, use some pecan, use some hickory, and then accent it with the fruitwood. And you want to do that kind of at the beginning of the cook when it's absorbing smoke flavor. So in the first 2 to 3 hours, say you're doing a whole turkey, go 2 to 1 fruit to oak, and then on the back end finish it off with all oak.
No, and you answered GNF Barbecue's question, like, do you use fruit woods? And as you can see, yes, and you answered when is the best time to use fruit woods. See, there you go.
Yeah, I'm thinking of everything now.
No, you're on. You're firing on all cylinders today, brother. I'm loving it. No, I enjoy using fruit woods, but I do not suggest doing entire cooks with fruit wood.
No.
It's not going to end well. You can overcook your food with too much aroma and seasoning and smoke from those fruit woods, because at a certain point in time, it shifts from being good to acrid really subtly if you run it for too long using that.
Yeah, and I haven't experimented, but I wonder if the sugars in the wood when you're cooking it leave traces on the meat that are gonna overly caramelize as you're going through the cook.
Well, it adds to the color.
Yeah.
It definitely adds to color. So I wouldn't put it past it how it travels, because if you look at it in the sense of almost it burning down, it's the same essence like when they're making moonshine and liquor in a little bit of ways.
Right.
So that's carryover hits, and you can taste the fruitiness, and I think it's a combination of that mouthfeel as well as the aroma as you're bringing the rib to your mouth. You're getting that waft of it. So I dig it. It's pretty cool. What do you have here? Now I thought we were gonna have a guest join us, but I think you scared them away, Brian.
I went too in depth on the wrap techniques.
Yeah, you lost them after you said, hey, if you use this crutch, you're not doing real barbecue.
No, hey, you know what? Zavala's does the crutch, and it works perfectly fine for them. Again, they do it late in the cook. That's the thing. It's do not. That's the thing. You know what? Do the old school method of when you hit the stall, that's when you wrap, and just
Mark it that way.
Yeah.
I'd go for it. And these are just techniques. Like if you're cooking in colder climates, okay, let's do what's going to make things a little bit easier, but also prep your rigs. I want us to talk about that a little bit more on the next episode. Maybe we'll mention this way, like, prepping your rigs for seasonality cooks. Like one thing I do to my rigs that just lasts all year is putting in fire bricks under the belly, under the deflector plate, because it holds heat consistently and distributes it evenly in addition to the deflector plate, no matter what the season or weather is. Like it could be 40 degrees outside. It's still going to be running nice and warm and hold without me having to keep dumping a ton of fuel into it. And especially during overnight cooks when you don't have, where it's just dead air and nothing's moving. That to me is like a better time to do it, or the best time to do it. Like having your rigs prepped up for that type of stuff. I think a lot of what we do is in prep, and it's not just on prepping the meat.
Oh, I mean, a lot of pits now are designed to overcome that, either with the air gap around the firebox. Mm-hmm. And so when I talk about air gap, is usually like, especially on an offset or reverse flow, they're usually built with a old 250 gallon propane tank, but there's a smaller chamber inside.
Yeah.
And so usually, like if you look at what you're ordering, they'll either say air gap or insulated. We're in Georgia.
And you're talking custom rigs.
We're talking custom rigs, yeah. And in Georgia, we really don't need the full insulated. The air gap is usually enough to where it's not getting direct cold. So there's that, like, there's a gap between the two cook chambers, so you're going to hold heat a little bit better. But if you're like in a colder environment and you're getting a custom rig, you should definitely get that thing fully insulated, because you're gonna use so much less wood. You're gonna be way more efficient, and then when the temperature drops, like you don't have to worry about fighting the elements as much as you would if you didn't get a insulated rig at all.
No, I agree completely. So only one of my rigs is insulated. Phoebe is insulated. Penny Pearl and the others, they're not. But that's just because they've got monstrous fireboxes. Like I could fit in the firebox on Penny and Pearl. Like those things are huge. So they aren't. But Phoebe isn't. So that's why rolling her on like cooler, colder, just freezing days. We even did a cook out of nowhere. It's late. It just started to sleet and ice cold temps dropping. I'm like, hey, at least the cook is good. Don't have to worry about it. Thankful. Right. So if you are in the market and getting your own custom rig built, spend the extra, especially if you're in a colder climate. Spend the extra. They usually bump it like $250 to $500 to get it insulated. It is absolutely worth it. You'll save the money in the long run because you won't have to use as much fuel down the line.
I mean, how much less fuel do you even use in like perfect weather with Phoebe?
Oh, it's when the breeze is running the right way, so much less, so less. Like I always know that she's running perfectly when the wood pile I set up for the cook has leftovers when the cook is done.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, oh yeah, she was running right, and you just fine tune and get that sweet spot. The wind's on your side, go for it. Perfect. You wanted to close out with one more?
Yeah, let's do one more.
Let's knock out one more. Alrighty, let's see here. That's interesting. And this is always a tricky one, but I feel like we should break it down a little bit more. At 225, what can you expect for cook times, not including rest for a whole brisket?
Depends on the cooker.
Definitely does depend on the cooker.
Like 225 on like a Komodo style cooker, like an egg or a Kamado Joe, it's going to be completely different than 225 in a Traeger or 225 in a like big offset or small offset.
Yeah.
Are they still in the chat? Can you ask them what kind of cooker they're using?
No additional information from that. Okay. We'll just hit one of each. I definitely think 225 on a 15. We'll go with the assumption that it's the trimmed weight is 15. It's going to be exceptionally faster on a Kamado style rig just because there's not a lot of travel room.
Yeah.
So that heat is bouncing all over the place. It's right up on it. Even though it's lower heat, it's on there.
Right. So funny story. I gave some advice to someone cooking. I won't name them.
Okay.
Gave some advice to someone asking. They were asking for advice. They said they were going to cook it on a Kamado Joe.
Okay.
I said, start your brisket at 225.
Okay.
It's like go for 4 hours, 225, then bump it up to 250. Then when it hits this certain temp, bump it up to 275. They got it to 275. Or like, oh, we'll just throw the brisket on now. It will lower the temp to 250. Their brisket came off in 6 hours, like 5.5, 6 hours. And if you go, like, I was like, that sounds weird, but like, that doesn't sound, is that normal? So I Googled search 6 hour brisket, big green egg, Kamado Joe. I found forums of people talking about this phenomenon.
Yeah.
Because of the way that heat is trapped in those things, it's going to cook substantially faster than if you're running at 225.
There's a Kamado style cooker that is hands down, I've told you, hands down the best Kamado style cooker I've ever used. We're not going to say the name of the company who makes it because, they don't put no respect on my name. But it is hands down. And the craziest thing is they don't even promote it. I'm like, I legitimately talked to the CEO. I was like, brother, this is your golden goose. Like, why aren't you guys promoting this? Like, leave this other stuff alone. You're burning money trying to promote that stuff. This is it. And it's like if people knew how dope this was, they'd get it. I've never had, I'll put it this way. It's the best rig I've ever cooked on. As far as holding heat, I started a cook at 8 in the morning. Fueled it at 8 in the morning. It was running and holding and going well till about 6:30, 7 p.m. after we'd finished filming, and I never had to add another piece of anything. Like, once I had it dialed, it held that temp, and it ran so beautifully. And I was like, brother, y'all are missing out. Like, this is what you really need to be pushing towards. And hopefully one day they get it right to start promoting. But it was the best rig I've ever cooked on as far as efficiency for heat and airflow management. Hands down.
All right. Well, you're going to have to tell me what that rig is.
Yeah,
after
oh
the
yeah,
show.
definitely after the show.
So the question is it specifically brisket 225, right?
Yeah, brisket 225.
Okay. I hate using times because nothing cooks this it doesn't cook the same, but let's say after trim you're saying 15, I'm saying it's probably going to end up 8 to 10.
Yeah.
Realistically. 225, hour 15, hour 30 per pound. You thinking?
I would think so. I think that works.
Yeah. But like pay attention to where it is during the different stages of the cook. I will say, like at 225, you're not gonna render the fat enough on a brisket.
Not how ideally we would like it to be.
Right, but if you want to run at 225 for the first 5 to 6 hours and then bump up the heat, that's what I would suggest. Because I think in order to really render the fat on a brisket, especially towards the end of the cook, you need to be pushing 275.
I think so.
Yeah.
Unless you're gonna run it much longer than 6 hours.
And you don't want to run it like honestly the perfect for me. This is just me. A brisket should be done in 12 to 14 hours.
Agreed.
Yeah, because if you do it any longer, you're gonna end up with like a dry flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, the point's probably gonna be fine, but your flat's gonna be dry.
Yeah. No, I agree. We're in agreement. I think let's end it when we both agree.
Yeah, let's both agree on something and then end it.
Let's end it. All right, so that's the show, ladies and gentlemen. As always, thank you for joining me on This Week in Barbecue. I'm your host, and always with the amazing beard is my amazing co-host, Mr.
Brian Hull. Remember to tell two friends to tell two friends, and be good to one another.
Have a great day, everyone.